Welcome back to Tommy's Garage. I'm here, Crocs and socks, rocking it. Some of you would have been here before, some of you wouldn't. I'm just doing a bit of a how-to. I used to do it with sea fishing. Obviously, I've sort of digressed over to carp fishing, so I thought I'd do a bit of a how-to on some carpy stuff. So I'm doing solid bags today. Boff. I'll cover off what components are in the bag, like the tidy stem, the hook link, the putty, all that sort of shenanigans. The pellet, I use loads of different stuff. Anyway, I'll get to the bag making bit in a minute. I just want to show you how the bag presents in water in the way I make it. So I've got a tub of water there. It is 29, 30 degrees-ish. It's steaming. But when I went to the lake, it was 21.8. And by the time I got to the kettle, it was a bit warmer than that. I thought 28, 21. It's only 7 degrees in it, but it'll make the bag melt faster so you don't get bored watching it. So if I twizzle you round, whoop, so there's my little bucket. Move you a bit closer so you can see. Can't zoom very well on a GoPro. Pop some holes in my bag. Like that. And then you'll go, bosh. So that's your cast. That's your solid bag that would have dropped in the lake there. Boff. So I put 2 pop-ups on with PVA tape. As you can see there, they prop that hook bait right on top of the pile of the bag. There's not quite enough water in there, but you'll see what happens. Pop-up's gone, and your bait sits perfectly there on top. So that's a hard hook bait, it's not a wafter. So it's just sat to the bottom, and then your pop-ups pop off the bag. But when the fish comes rooting around, obviously if it comes from that side first, it's going to get your hook bait. These are irrelevant really, they just float off. I just use a yellow and a pink so I can see them when they pop up on the surface. But that is my match the hatch solid bag, and I'll go through how I make it now. Bit darker over this side of the garage, isn't it? You can see all my fishing stuff in the drawers behind. So bits for the solid bag, hook baits. You can use wafters, hard hooking baits. I just use hard hookers and wafters. I don't bother with pop-ups. 1 solid bag, pellet to fill your bag, 1 times rig. So I've got a E.S.P soft braid, size 6, and that's it. And then obviously it goes on to the Gemini tidy stem. A little gated baiting needle, that's for the PVA tape. A normal baiting needle because I don't like using gated for bait. A little solid bag lead. I use the quarter ones because the Gemini stem fits perfectly in there. Some PVA tape, 2 pop-ups, and then just some little stops just to hold your hook bait in place. And now I'll go on to putting it all together. Try and get you looking like that. Let's see if that's how it goes. Right, so to start with, I had everything prepped then. I'm a complete noob, and right, get your hook bait. Bait and needle the hook bait onto the hair of that rig there. So if I turn you that way a little bit, you should be able to see. So straight through the dumbbell hook bait, nice and easy. Wash it through there. I've got a little tiny bit of putty there that I didn't mention when I said what you'd need, so I do put a little bit of putty on. Slide that onto the hair like so. Get the needle out. Next comes the fun bit of trying to get the stopper in the hair. If anyone else knows a better way of doing this, please tell me, because I always struggle doing this bit. So I'll slide him up a little bit. Get that off. It's not as easy on a bucket lid on top of a bucket lid on top of a bucket. Right. Get a little bait stopper in if I can. I do apologise, this is a bit I fucking struggle with every time. Now I'm throwing stuff all over the floor. Do you know, I prepped for this video, I thought this is going to be slick. And only I could mess up a slick video. Hopefully you find it entertaining. I do this so you don't have to. Right, so hook bait's on. So you see a little stop in the end there. Pull it nice and tight there, quite soft hook bait. It almost disappears inside. That leaves your hook bait hanging down on the hair, nice. I then put my little dobble of putty there, just to make sure it stays on the bottom. And when I cut the braid down, you can get a, it's like a patented, it's almost camo, I suppose. And I normally put the light bit down by the hook so I can see exactly where I want to put my putty. So when I built the rig, I just go, that's where it goes. And obviously previous to that, when you make the rigs, I test them for what they look like in water. Alright, so that's the rig. Bit of putty, hook on the hair with your little dumbbell. Don't really need the putty with it, but I do. The stem straight through the lead, bish bash bosh, pull it nice and tight, done. That is the rig. Next part I do, this is more for presentation, so obviously you saw the pop-ups, so you have to bear with me on this little bit because it's a bit fiddly as well. And obviously you can see the lid ain't stable, so you just get your PVA tape and do an overhand knot. Hopefully you can see this. One, doesn't really matter where or how it goes on, as long as it doesn't cause a problem with your hook bait. It'll prop it up and then obviously sit on top of that pile of pellet too, and just snip them off. I'm dropping it all over the place, butterfingers today. Alright, so that's the tape attached to the hook there, just with an overhand knot. God, it's raining out there. And you just get your pop-ups of your gated. You can do it with a normal baiting needle, but what happens sometimes is the tape slips through the little groove. Well, it's tipping down. If this bag gets wet, I'll be well upset. Your baiting needle on the tape there will just slip straight through when you use one of these, because there's no gate on it, it just slides off. So all you do then is pop that through your gated needle like so, slide the pop-ups a bit, so then it's trapped. If you can see that, it's really hard on a GoPro because I don't zoom. So it's through the gate, it's not coming up, it slides up and down, but it's not coming off. And all you do, slide your bodies down, your pop-ups even, sorry, down like that, snip, snip, and then that leaves you your hook bait with 2 pop-ups, so you're guaranteed, even with the putty, to pop it up, and the putty will pull it back down. Solid bag. I won't really be able to show you how to top the bag up, to be honest. I'll have a go, but I'll drop pellet all over the floor. So if I do this, that might help you see my little bucket there, my bag. So I won this on a free comp on one of them dodgy carp sites. Elevate garlic, it absolutely honks. I've got loads of bag mixing in. I normally go CC more for the Odyssey, Pro Stim and Live system, because it's a really good mix of pellet and powder. So when it dissolves, it lets an absolute cloud off. So I put a bit in the bottom of the bag like so, just to fill it out, get the corners out, make it a bit flat. I then drop my bait in, give it a little finger to get it at the front of the bag. Try and get it on the opposite side of the lead. I'll do this over the bucket because obviously I'll get mice in here, and I don't want the mice eating my fishing stuff, as I'm sure we've all had. Got a nice view of my Crocs and socks there though. So do it over the bucket, and then at the end I can just tip the bucket back in the bag. Job's a good one. And you get one of these little green scoops with the bags. So these are quarter bags, I think. Quarter mediums, I want to say. So how's that looking? Yeah, that'll do. Maybe one more little top up. A bit of squash. I wish you could smell how garlicky these pellets are. It's incredible. I've never really been a huge garlic pellet fan, but I might be converted after this. Right, so if I bring you back over here, tilt you up a bit, there's my bag. Can't see my pellet, my pop-ups are at the side, at the bottom there, in the bottom corners, so that's fine. And then all I get is a little twist at the top, like that, so it's nice and tight. Get my tape, pinch between my fingers, like so, and wrap. And you just wrap under itself every time, and it just makes your bag go tighter and tighter and tighter, and you don't have to do the lick and stick on the top there to keep it tight. It will just, I literally go tight and tight and tight until it snaps itself like that. trim off the excess on the top. Bish bash bosh. Apologies, this isn't the most exciting feature. Yeah. Sunday, I've got another video to put up for where I was out carping. Annoyingly I didn't get one, I had some tench, but... Right, so the bait's at the bottom down here, just behind that corner. And then I pop a couple of holes on the opposite side to the lead just to make so I can get the air out when I tap the corners. Tap, tap, tap the corners. Lick, pull and stick. And the bags, don't forget that, it's absolutely tipping it down. The bags take a good bit of stretch. Don't lick too much though, because they'll melt and you'll be annoyed then. And that is the solid bag with the stem. And if I go in here, here are some I made earlier. Ta-da! So I've got Odyssey, which is muscle. Odyssey, Pro Stim liver. I've got Pacific tuna, and then I've got Live System, but they've all got the same way of doing it. They've all got the tiny stem, the pop-ups, PVA tape, etc, etc. Annoyingly, the lake fish only lets you use 2 rods, because if it done 3, I'd go solid bag on one, Ronnie rig with a pop-up on the other, and then maybe a hair rig or multi-rig on the other with a pop-up. So that is how I make my solid bag. I'll put up some pictures after this little bit and show you what I've had on my solid bags, and then you know they work, didn't you? If you've got any tips for me on how to make a better solid bag, please do share. I'm by no means a pro. I've only been carping since April. I've had a couple of nice fish thanks to the help of some very helpful anglers. They've helped me along my way. But yeah, all the best and tight lines. Hope you bag a big one.